Welcome to the Love Government. I am Dennis Leary. We are doing a series of videos on the sex cards. These are the cards in front of me, and we call them sex cards because they're within the context of love, as the Love Government title suggests. And the most important part of love is our sexuality. And we feel here in the Love Government that sex is where it's at in the sense of solving our problems. Because culturally and individually, sex is a big, big problem, as we'll go into as time permits. We are on a journey through these cards. This is part of a bigger system, which is called the Love Government System, and you can find more information about it on the website. And there's a book there, and there's much information, but here we're focusing on the sex cards. This is a structured type of program, and the total structure is shown here on these card layouts. There are 52 cards in this whole system. We are going through the individual cards in a sequence. We're now on the 13th card of the sequence, and that card name is called Saint. And this is a lover card. These are love cards. They're also called tarot cards. Tarot means to love in our interpretation. This 13th card occurs in this total card layout in this position, second from the top, in the suit of time. So we are in a journey going through, looking at the different parts of ourselves in a temporal sequence. We've gone through woman, where it starts, and then baby, child, teen, adult, and now we come to what is called saint. Saint is taken from a religious cultural context, but the basic idea of it is a further development in the integration of ourself and our consciousness, getting closer to our goal, which is to be a true lover. Because we believe the reason we're here on this planet is to learn and demonstrate love. The positive side of the card is called ain't, and the negative side is called quaint. Quaint saint and ain't saint. The two sides of these cards spin like this, or this card here will spin. So by playing the two poles, these are negative and positive like a battery, you generate power, you generate understanding, and you generate information. Taking a look at this card, then we see a hermit up on top of a mountain. There's nothing but ice and snow up there. And his wand that he's holding, which is symbolic of a penis, is not sprouting like the other cards. If you recall in the previous episodes, they were sprouting leaves, which means there's life, but this one is kind of dead. So I want to make a very important point early on in this series, because it has to do with basic understanding of things, a worldview, a philosophy, if you will. And there are two different kind of philosophies operating, the way we see it in the Love Government. The philosophy that's operating and running our society today is called patriarchy. That's a big word, but there's a lot of literature on it. It means rule by men, and not just rule or governance, but a power over situation. It's a power over situation. It's represented by this model, which is the pyramid. It's a phallic symbol of a pyramid like this. And the idea of that model is that we're ascending away from the earth. That's why you'll see this kind of like a joking way. The seeker, when he's looking for something of a serious nature, goes up the mountain to seek the guru or the master, and then the master supposedly tells him what the secrets of life are. So that's the idea of this. This is the top of a pyramid type of thing, like this is Mount Everest. Now, climbing Mount Everest or going up in that ascent has some value. it has a lot of ego value, because you can always tell your friends, oh, I climbed Mount Everest, or I sat for meditating for 30 hours or something like that. It could be, I'm saying it could be, not necessarily, it could be an ego trip. But anyway, the point I'm making is this is not the direction we're going in. And this direction of trying to get away from the earth up to some imaginary heaven is not workable in the long run. It's not sustainable, at least from our point of view. What is sustainable is earth-centered, and that's represented by this triangle here, right down it. This triangle is the red heart. It comes from the pubic area triangle, which is called a feminine triangle. The tip is pointing down, not up, as in this picture. It's pointing down to the earth, and if you can imagine a really big pyramid triangle down in the earth, like 4,000 miles deep and 4,000 miles across the top, if this was the pyramid I'm talking about, 4,000 miles across the top, and it's more or less flat on the top. It's a little bit curved. That's a very different model, a very different metaphysical, spiritual model than this one. This is called a patriarchal model. This is called the lover-archal model. This is a red heart down here, based on a triangle. This is a black spade up here. Red triangle down here, pointing to the vulva of the woman and the center of the earth. And this is a black, I don't know if you can see it, but there's a black spade here. Now a spade is a phallic triangle. It's two balls and a cock is what it is, pointing upward. Upward. Now once again, I want to say this particular card here brings that out. And each one of these cards tells a story. And in the book you'll hear a story being told as you go on this trip. And these cards are all like markers, or they're telling a story, they're giving a message. And the story here is, this ain't the way to go. We're an ain't saint at this level. But in the love government, we're countercultural. We're going against the stream. This is a quaint saint. A quaint saint in the cultural religious sense is someone who represents the value of the culture. That person is supporting the culture. It's helping people to adapt to the culture. But if the culture is corrupt, and we believe it is, we believe the culture we're living in, called patriarchy, or called evilarchy, whatever, is anti-love. And that's why this is a quaint saint. It's on the negative side. To be an ain't saint is to go against the culture. We're not trying to destroy anything, or put anybody out of business, but we're saying that we want to reform the culture. The culture is very, very corrupt, and it's killing and causing all kinds of problems. But that's another story of how we fell away from our original love culture. And we tell it in many different ways in different places. But what this card here is telling us now is that about the two different directions of going in life. And if you look at our culture closely, you'll see that there's a great subliminal propaganda machine at work all the time, day and night, trying to destroy this orientation. And it's been going on for thousands and thousands of years. This is earth-centered, this is woman-centered. It means a woman-centered cultural and governing system. And what do the men do in that system? The men support that system, if they're true men. But men, historically, turned against the love culture. That's called the fall of man. Now, why they did that is speculative. Probably out of jealousy and power. They wanted the power. But the natural power is with the woman. So it's very important to understand the differences. We push things out to extremes, like these cards are in the extremes, and we bring it into the center because it's understanding the difference that we come to understanding. So as I was saying, there was a great change, a tremendous change that it's affecting us vitally today. And it is being suppressed, repressed, covered up, denied by the reigning cultural elites who sit at the top of this pyramid. And it's not just them who are benefiting from this system, it's everybody in this system who wants to climb up to the top of that pyramid in some way. They want to get up to the top. And especially they're terrified and fearful of sliding down to the bottom. That terrifies, because these type of pyramids are very unstable. At any time they can kind of implode and crush and go back to chaos. Because these pyramids are not stable. They're not sustainable at all. But this pyramid is. Now, this message is brought out in this card that this ain't the way to go. So in the love government, we are presenting a program of love that is sustainable and is beneficial to all of us as individuals, and also the culture at large. And this is very, very important. I don't know anything that's more important than loving people in a practical way. And we know from the news that we get, and we only get the mainstream news for the most part, where the real tragic story is not being told. So this is a love program that we're in, and we're presenting it as such. And anything anybody can do, and even a little way of considering the problem and then the right solution, is going to help us all. Thank you for joining us today. We thank all the lovers from all space and time who have come in, because we do invite them in to participate. This is kind of like a ceremony, a ritual that is a trace of what was going on with our ancestors who were lovers in the real love culture. Thank you, and love be with you. Love, love, and more love.